life itself. How come it's love? It does not force you here to change. If you have some nasty muck up in your, let's just say your tube that light's coming through, and it decides, that you're going to leave it there, you're not going to get rid of it. You know when it comes up. You know, on the base level, deep, you know when something's really terrifying you and you need to do something. Right? When you choose not to, it becomes more of a problem, doesn't it? Why? Well, it's still getting life force. It's sitting up there growing like a cancer in your connection to life itself. It's taking over. Right? And it continually will. Right? That's the warrior, is the one that marches back up that line and removes that junk. Right? Crawls up in there. It's got 1,000,000 teeth and 1,000 stingy things. And you're just, ugh! Because it's your own treachery. I mean, you've been delusional before, right? Holy God, how did I do that? You did it with your own life force. You made it as real as the world you're standing in. You do that with what that is. You decide what you're going to empower by putting it in your mind, in the life stream. Right? If that stream's flowing through, whatever you put up in there is going to get life force. And the longer you hold it there, the more life force it gets. And then eventually, bloop, falls out and it's now in front of you. People don't think so, but if they were paying attention, they'd see it's like this. It's just that it's happened over such a long period of time. Right? It's like in 2012, right? What's going to happen? These things are going to start to go on almost instantaneously. You think it, bam, there it is. Oh, jeez. And you're going to see how corrupt your mind actually is, or how clear it actually is. Because that also means that when that comes, if you are streaming that life force and you are being that, and you've decided that the character it gives you is who you are, you don't make it up. It makes you up. And when you get to that stage of that, right, then when there's no distance between your thought and your manifestation, you will become more of that, even quicker and more and more. That's why I don't have any fear. It's like, well, what about everything that's going to go down? I'll be ready for it energetically. I'll be ready for it. So when the forces that be, the evil ones, whatever, is going to go down in this Armageddon, when they come for me, there just won't be any me there to get. Bye. We get, it's the power, it says it, Jesus even said it, it rains on, or whoever said it in the Bible, it rains on everyone. That intensity is there for everyone. Right? If it's hell, that's your experience of it. That's how you've defined it. It's like, well, what's the definition of heaven and hell? Here's a perfect one. At the time of your death, you're free. Are you afraid of that, or can you embrace that? You have no one telling you anything. You have nowhere to be. You've got no responsibility. Hell, you got no body. What do you do then? It's totally up to you. No one to hear. So can you handle that? Can you handle not having to be somewhere at a specific time? Not having an agenda? Not having a need? You be able to live with that? If you can, you're in heaven. And if you can't, you're in a degree of hell, one form or another. Truly a bardo, anyway. I've been through them. I had to go through those, because a lot of my being was laying in those dark recesses. Because I've always been one to go after the dark people, dark energies, dark, nasty, the stuff we just know should not exist, but it does, and we allow it to run rampant and ruin things. I've always been a seeker of that to destroy it. Sometimes you get a little too much of it on you. Right? And it turns you a little, and then part of you spills off into that event. And you got to go back and retrieve it, right? And you know how nasty it really is. That's why you got to be really lit up to even attempt it. Put yourself back together again. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. You feel it within yourselves. You know where you're blocked. You refuse to understand that. I mean, it's the minute confusion comes in, that's a defense mechanism. That's what it is. Confusion is a defense against the truth. Because the truth is about to smack you in the head, and you can't handle it, scramble it. And now it has no way in because it's not clear. It's confusion. And you can just sit there confused. And you can sit there and rock back and forth in confusion, and then eventually it'll subside because you run out of energy to be confused with. And then you make another attempt at it. I mean, it's sad to say that. It's hard to say that because it seems so nasty. That's exactly what goes on. Confusion is a defense mechanism, so your ego does not have to relinquish any power to the you actually are. And it's got corporations on its side. It's got makeup companies on its side. It's got car companies on its side. Who do you have on yours? You. Hopefully, if you're lucky, a few others. But never many. You can have lots of acquaintances. Very few friends. Because if you have too many friends, none of them are actually real friends. Because friend can only happen when time is spent in a qualitative state. That's what makes friend. Friend is not someone who shares my likes and dislikes. Friend is someone who I've spent quality time with. And what I mean by quality time, there was no distance between us. There was none of this shielding away or cowering away from it. It was just quality time. You know how hard that is to find? Do you all have any idea how hard that is to find? You're all nodding yes. She's not. She's like, no.
Is that partly because it's really hard to be real with people? A lot of people won't accept you if you're real and you express your...
You just opened up another gem. This is a gem. You want to know why it's hard to be real with other people? You don't get to defend yourself. Because the minute you start defending yourself, you're no longer real. So when they come bashing, you just have to take it. Because the minute you stand up to it, you're not real anymore. Does it make any sense? It's a vulnerable state.
I sort of understand it, but
Let's elaborate then. Let us elaborate a little bit. Being real, to truly be real, is love, is it not? You're nodding yes, good. So to be real is love, and someone attacks you. If you attack back, is that love? You've stepped out of it to defend it, then you've stepped out of it. You're no longer real. You have to remain in that state no matter what. That's what this thing's all about. That's what growing is all. That's what this enlightenment is all about. Is standing firm in it. Anybody can have it on a Tuesday night, a Saturday afternoon. It's easy as long as everybody's willing.